I have the Washington Nationals ranked 27th in baseball. Fangraph says they are the 29th ranked team in baseball. The key additions this offseason, a lot of outfielders. They added Eddie Rosario a little bit over a week ago. Actually, almost 2 weeks ago at this point. They added Zach Davies. Matt Barnes is a good reliever. They added Jesse Winker. They added Joey Gallo. They added Juan Yepes. They added Dylan Floro. Nick Senzel is a big name that they added as well, former top prospect. They added a lot of pieces. They lost Michael Chavez, not too big of a deal. Hobie Harris, not too big of a deal. They added a lot of solid outfielders looking for a bounce back this offseason. I don't really trust this rotation. Their ace is Josiah Gray. He's getting the opening day start. I just saw that earlier today. His expected ERA, according to Fangraphs, was 5.03 a year ago, which means he vastly overperformed according to the expected ERA stat with his 3.91 ERA. His FIP, which is fielding independent pitching, is a predictive stat of a 4.93. So I think he kind of surprised some people. He wasn't really that good a year ago, and he kind of got lucky, it seems, in a lot of his numbers. So I don't trust Josiah Gray going forward. I really think he's a below average pitcher. I don't think he's that amazing. And then you got Patrick Corbin, who I've been on record saying for the last 2 or 3 years, he is the worst pitcher in baseball. He's just playing out his contract at this point and eating innings. I believe in Mackenzie Gore. I think he will be the ace of this staff by year's end. I think he can surprise people. I think he might end up being the all-star representative of the Washington Nationals. I think Mackenzie Gore is solid. Jake Irvin, I'm going to be entirely honest, I have not looked that much into Jake Irvin, but I think he could be an average pitcher to below average pitcher. Trevor Williams has shown some signs in the past of being pretty good, and it wouldn't be crazy if he was solid this upcoming year. You also have Steven Strasburg, who he's not going to pitch. He wants to retire. He had thoracic outlet syndrome surgery 4 years ago at this point, or 3.5 years ago at this point. He wants to retire. It's been a whole thing. Cade Cavalli is a prospect who could get called up. He had Tommy John surgery over a year ago. He would not be back until probably mid-season, but this rotation's really bad, and they can use some help. The bullpen, I actually kind of like their bullpen. Tanner Rainey was good in 2019. I don't know about now, but yeah, Richard Blyer was added. He's a solid lefty. You have Kyle Finnegan and Hunter Harvey, who I really like Hunter Harvey. I think he could surprise some people and be really good. I just don't trust the rotation. I think Josiah Gray is going to decline. I think Mackenzie Gore is actually the best pitcher in this rotation, but nobody else is really that good. And now the offense is really interesting. At catcher, you have Kyber Ruiz, who is a very solid catcher. I think he could surprise some people. I'm pretty sure he has got high walk rates, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to go check that right this. Yes, Kyber Ruiz is in the 90. Oh, no, he doesn't walk. He doesn't walk, but he also doesn't strike out. He's in the 99th percentile for strikeout rate. He also does not swing and miss. I got stats mixed up. So he's like a 3 true outcome kind of guy, but he also hit 18 homers last year. I think, how many years has he played? He's played, I think, 2 full seasons at this point. He has, I think in his 3rd year, I think he might put it all together and be a solid catcher. At first base, the projected guy is Joey Gallo. Interesting. He's been a former Gold Glove guy. I think he could surprise some people going to a place like Washington. There isn't a lot of pressure, and he doesn't really have people. He's got Joey Meneses, who I think is just an average hitter. He doesn't really have anybody who's looking to take the first base spot from him. He has no pressure. He doesn't have to do that well. He's been good in the past. I think he can surprise some people, and he still hits the ball as hard as he ever has. At second base, Luis Garcia Jr., who's only 23, going to be 24 at some point in the year. He has potential. I think he could be good. Let's just say average hitter. At third base, the projection says Nick Senzel to be playing third base. There's also Ildemaro Vargas and Brady House, who I don't think he's going to be that good. He doesn't walk. He strikes out a lot. He did go up 3 levels in 1 year in 2023, but I just don't think that he's got he doesn't have like the profile that I personally like in a player, because he strikes out a lot and doesn't walk. But maybe he hits the ball hard. You don't really have those numbers in the minors, but for right now, it's Nick Senzel. He's going back to the infield where he was a top prospect back in the day, as in like 6 years ago. He might be able to recapture that magic he captured in the minors and have a bounce back year. I think he can surprise some people. At shortstop, you got CJ Abrams, who I think is really a solid player. I don't think he's bad. I think give him a little bit more time and he'll improve. He was a top prospect once upon a time. He had his first full season and a 712 OPS for a 95 OPS plus. I think he does have potential there, a 3.4 WAR, a solid defense at shortstop. So I really do believe in CJ Abrams going forward. And now this is where it gets interesting. The Nationals outfield there's a lot of guys who have top of the line prospects right there. You have Lane Thomas, who was really solid last year, but I think he can disappoint some people. He overperformed a lot of his StatCast numbers a year ago. He was really good in the first half and kind of came back down to earth in the second half. You know, his WOBA was 334, xWOBA 319. His expected slugging percentage was 436. His actual slugging percentage was 468. He kind of overperformed his power numbers. He doesn't necessarily hit the ball incredibly hard on a good basis. I think he's more of that hitter. More of the hitter he was combined, rather than he's not going to be elite like he was in the first half, but he's also not going to suck like he was in the second half. Jesse Winker looking to come back, get back to where he used to be when he was in Cincinnati. Struggled. I think he can surprise people because he might still have what it takes. Victor Robles is projected to be in center field. He's not going to be on this team by the end of May. He's not a good hitter. He's a solid defender, but you got so many top prospects. James Wood has been unbelievable in spring training. He's amazing. He's really big. He hits the ball hard. He has the potential to make the opening day roster from what I've seen. I just don't know that he will because there's so much stuff. There's also Eddie Rosario, who I haven't really mentioned, who also has potential to bounce back and have a good solid season. So I can really see him, Dylan Cruz, the second overall pick from a year ago, and Robert Hassel III as well. Those three guys are the future outfield of the Washington Nationals. I really believe in all three of those guys, probably Dylan Cruz and James Wood a little bit more than Robert Hassel III. But those three guys are the future of the outfield. So in my opinion, if Gallo or Rosario or Lane Thomas are really good next year, they're getting traded at the deadline to bring these guys up. If they struggle, these guys are going to come up by July anyways. My personal over-under would be 69, and the over-under from Vegas is 66.5, which in my opinion is really low. So if you're betting for the 2024 over-under at 65 and at 66.5, I would bet the over, as I have this team going 71-91, same record as a year ago. I think they actually have the potential to be closer to that 76-77 win range, to be honest, with how solid I think they look. I just don't trust the rotation. 71-91 for the 2024 Washington Nationals.